I stood in the doorway of what used to be my childhood home, holding the gift bag I'd brought for her baby. Through the window, I could see at least 40 people laughing, drinking champagne, and waiting for the big gender reveal moment. There was plenty of room. There just wasn't room for me. "Melissa, I drove 3 hours to be here," I said quietly. "And that was your choice?" She finally glanced at me, her eyes cold. "This is a special moment for people who actually matter in my life. You understand?" Our mother appeared, her face tight with that familiar expression of disappointment she reserved specifically for me. "Mom, it's 40 degrees out there." "Then I guess you should have become someone worth including," Melissa said, turning back to adjust the balloon arch that framed the dessert table. "Where's your successful career? Your husband? Your perfect life? Oh right, you're still doing that little crafting thing." The little crafting thing was my event design business, but I didn't correct her. I'd learned years ago that nothing I said would change how they saw me. I'd always been the forgettable middle child. Melissa was 3 years older, beautiful, popular, married to Derek, whose family owned a car dealership chain. She'd never worked a day in her life but had somehow become an influencer by posting photos of her luxury lifestyle. My younger brother Ryan, 23, was the golden boy finishing his MBA at Northwestern on my parents' dime. Me? I was just Olivia, the one who'd moved away at 18 and rarely came home. The one they forgot to mention at family gatherings. The one whose Christmas presents were always generic gift cards while Melissa got designer bags and Ryan got the latest tech. "Fine," I said. "I'll watch from outside." Melissa's face lit up with a triumphant smile. "Perfect. And Liv? Make sure you're not visible in any of the window shots. Derek's parents are here and they're very particular about aesthetics." I walked out the front door and around to the side of the house where the bay window looked into the living room. The decorations were stunning, exactly the kind of high-end setup that cost thousands. Blush pink and sage green everything, custom balloon installations, a dessert table that looked professionally styled, elegant signage, and a massive confetti cannon positioned in the center of the room. Through the window, I watched Derek's mother, Patricia, hold court near the champagne tower. She caught sight of me outside and actually laughed, saying something to the woman next to her. They both looked at me and giggled like high schoolers. My phone buzzed. A text from Melissa: "Can you move further back? You're ruining the ambience." I didn't respond. I just smiled and took 3 steps backward, then pulled out my phone and made a call. "Lux Events and Design, this is Mariah speaking." "Hey Mariah, it's Liv. Quick question about the Parker gender reveal setup today. What time did our team arrive?" "They're there now. Got there at 2 p.m. sharp like you requested." "Why? Is something wrong?" "No, everything's perfect. Just confirming timeline." "Thanks." I hung up and checked my watch. 2:47 p.m. The gender reveal was scheduled for 3 p.m., the exact moment when the lighting would be perfect for Melissa's photos and videos. Inside, I watched my mother tapping a champagne glass with a fork, calling everyone to attention. Melissa and Derek positioned themselves in front of the confetti cannon, her hand on her barely visible baby bump, his arm around her waist. Everyone had their phones out, ready to capture the moment. The doorbell rang. Through the window, I saw my father move toward the door, annoyed at the interruption. He opened it to reveal 3 people in black polo shirts with Lux Events and Design embroidered on them. The lead designer, Mariah, held an iPad and wore an expression of professional concern. I couldn't hear the conversation, but I watched my father's face go from annoyed to confused. He called my mother over. She left Melissa's side and went to the door, and I saw her mouth moving rapidly, her hands gesturing inside toward all the decorations. Mariah shook her head firmly and held up the iPad, showing them something on the screen. My mother's face went white. Melissa noticed the commotion and walked over, Derek following. I watched her expression shift from irritation at the interruption to confusion as Mariah spoke. Then Mariah's voice rose loud enough for me to hear through the window. "THIS $8,500 setup was commissioned and paid for through Olivia Chen's business account. As the owner of Lux Events and Design, Miss Chen has the authority to cancel any event. Without her present and participating as a guest, not standing outside in the cold, we have instructions to pack up everything and leave." The entire room went silent. 40 people stared at my family. "What?" Melissa's voice cracked. "Olivia doesn't own anything. She does little craft projects." Mariah's professional smile never wavered. "Miss Chen owns and operates Lux Events and Design, the premier event company in the tri-state area. We did $2.3 million in revenue last year. This setup alone, including the custom balloon installation, the floral arrangements, the dessert table." "She's lying," my mother said, but her voice shook. "Olivia can't afford that. She barely scrapes by." "Mom," I called from outside the window. Everyone turned to look at me, their faces pressed against the glass like I was an exhibit. "You never asked what I actually do. You just assumed." I walked around to the front door. Mariah stepped aside to let me in. The living room felt enormous suddenly, despite the 40 people crowded inside. Melissa stood frozen by the confetti cannon, her face pale. Derek's mouth hung open. Patricia had her phone out, clearly having captured this entire exchange on video. Olivia owns this company? Derek's father, Robert, spoke up. The Lux events that did the mayor's daughter's wedding last month? Yes, sir, Mariah confirmed. That was one of our smaller events, actually. Ms. Chen just finalized contracts for 3 celebrity weddings and a Fortune 500 company gala. This is insane, Melissa said, but her voice had lost its confident edge. Why would you do this? Why would you pretend to be struggling? I never pretended anything, I said calmly. You never asked. In 5 years, not once did you ask what my business actually was. You just decided I was failing and treated me accordingly. My mother found her voice. Olivia, sweetheart, there's clearly been a misunderstanding. Of course you're welcome inside. We were just joking around. No, I said simply. You told me to stand outside where I belong. You said I wasn't worth including. We didn't mean it like that, my father said quickly, his eyes darting to Robert and Patricia, whose phones were both out now. You made me watch through the window in 40-degree weather, I continued, my voice steady. You said I should have become someone worth including. You laughed when Derek's mother made fun of me through the glass. No. Patricia's face turned red. Robert was typing rapidly on his phone. Melissa's hands were shaking now. Liv, come on. It's my gender reveal. Don't do this. Please. I have 47,000 followers watching my story. This is supposed to be perfect. It could have been, I said. I spent weeks planning this with Mariah. The color scheme, the custom desserts, the photographers I hired, yes, the photographer is mine too, all of it. I wanted to give you something beautiful because despite everything, you're my sister and I was happy for you. Then don't take it away. Melissa's voice rose to a desperate pitch. Please, Olivia. I'm begging you. Look, I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry for what I said. Just let the party continue. The setup stays or goes based on one condition, I said. Everyone leaned forward. I want you to tell all these people, and your 47,000 Instagram followers, the truth. Tell them how you've treated me. Tell them what you said to me today. Melissa's face crumpled. I can't do that. It'll ruin my image. My sponsors. Your choice, I said, turning toward Mariah. Pack it up. Melissa grabbed my arm. Wait. Please. What do you want? Money? I'll pay you back for everything. With what money? I asked quietly. You don't work, remember? That's Derek's family money you spend. Derek stepped forward. We can write you a check right now. I don't want your money. I paid for this as a gift. But gifts are given to people we love, who love us back. You don't love me. You don't even respect me. My mother started crying. How can you be so cruel? To your own family? Cruel? I felt a laugh bubble up. I drove 3 hours to bring a gift and celebrate with you. You made me stand outside in the cold. You said I didn't matter. I'm not being cruel, Mom. I'm just done being treated like I don't exist. Ryan, who'd been silent until now, spoke up. Liv, this is messed up. You're really going to ruin Melissa's party because your feelings are hurt. My feelings aren't hurt, Ryan. My feelings require me to matter enough to be hurt. I'm simply setting a boundary. Mariah cleared her throat. Miss Chen, we need a decision. The team has other events today. The room held its breath. Melissa was crying now, mascara running down her face. My mother clutched my father's arm. The 40 guests had their phones out, documenting every second. Mariah, new plan, I said. Leave everything. Let them have their party. But make note in our company records, no future events for the Parkerchen families. Not even paid ones. Noted, Mariah said, tapping on her iPad. Wait, what? My father said. Olivia, that's extreme. Is it? You're the ones who decided I wasn't worth a seat at the table. I'm just respecting your wishes going forward. I turned to leave, and Melissa lunged forward, grabbing both my arms. Please don't go. Stay. You can sit wherever you want. Front row. I'll introduce you to everyone. I'll post about your company, Melissa, I said gently, removing her hands from my arms. I don't need your promotion. My company has a 2-month waiting list. I don't need your approval either. I just needed basic human decency, and you couldn't even give me that. I walked toward the door. Behind me, I heard Melissa's sobs get louder, heard my mother frantically trying to salvage the situation, heard the murmur of 40 people gossiping about what they'd just witnessed. Patricia's voice carried clearly, Robert, this is going viral. Melissa's comment section is blowing up. Someone already screen recorded her story. I paused at the door and looked back one last time. Enjoy the party. The confetti in the cannon is biodegradable, by the way. I made sure of it because I know you care about that kind of thing, Melissa. Even when you don't care about me. I left. My phone started buzzing before I reached my car. Texts flooded in, Mom, please come back. We can talk about this. Dad, you're being unreasonable. After everything we've done for you. Ryan, you just embarrassed the whole family in front of everyone. Melissa, I hate you. You ruined everything. My followers are asking questions. Fix this. Then, 3 minutes later, please live, I'm sorry, please come back, please, I'll do anything. I didn't respond to any of them. I drove to my office instead, a converted warehouse space in the art district that housed my design studio, my team of 8 employees, and enough inventory to handle 6 events simultaneously. Mariah called as I pulled into the parking lot. Boss, you okay? That was intense. I'm fine. Did they do the reveal? Yeah, about 10 minutes after you left. It's a girl, by the way. But half the guests left right after. The whole vibe was ruined. Patricia left a 1-star review on our website, but I flagged it for you. Let it stay, I said. Let people see how we handle situations where clients mistreat our owner. You're the boss. Oh, and Liv? Your mom just called the office trying to book a reconciliation dinner event for next month. What should I tell her? Tell her we're fully booked. Forever. Got it. I hung up and sat in my car for a moment, watching my employees through the large windows, arranging centerpieces for a wedding tomorrow. This business had started in my tiny apartment 6 years ago with $3,000 in savings and a dream. Now it was my whole life, my pride, my proof that I was worth something. And my family had never once asked about it. 3 weeks later, I was finishing a consultation with a bride when my phone rang. Unknown number. Olivia Chen speaking. Ms. Chen, this is Robert Patterson, Derek's father. We met briefly at the gender reveal. I remember. I'm calling because Patricia and I would like to book your services for our 40th anniversary party in June. We're prepared to pay whatever premium is necessary. I'm sorry, Mr. Patterson, but we don't take bookings from the Parker or Chen families. I understand that, he said. And I respect it. But I'm not calling as Derek's father. I'm calling as someone who watched you handle an incredibly difficult situation with grace and dignity while being treated abhorrently. Patricia and I were horrified by what we witnessed. We've actually had several conversations with Derek about how he and Melissa treat people. I didn't respond. We'll pay double your normal rate, he continued. And donate an additional $10,000 to a charity of your choice. I know it's not about the money for you, but I want you to know we understand the value of what you do, and who you are. I'll have my assistant send you our availability, I said finally. Thank you. And Ms. Chen? I meant what I said. What you did took courage. You deserved better from your family. After I hung up, I pulled up Melissa's Instagram. Her follower count had dropped to 43,000. Her recent posts had comments disabled. The gender reveal video was gone entirely. My mother had called 17 times that week. My father had sent a long email about family forgiveness. Ryan had texted asking if I could get over it already. I deleted them all. I didn't need their approval anymore. I didn't need their acceptance. I'd built something real, something valuable, something mine. And I'd learned that sometimes the best way to handle people who make you feel small is to simply walk away and let them see, really see, how big you've actually become. The business phone rang. Another client. Another event. Another chance to create something beautiful for people who valued the work. I smiled and answered. Lux Events and Design, this is Olivia. How can I help make your celebration perfect? Have you ever been underestimated by the people who should have supported you most? How did you prove them wrong? Share your story in the comments below.